All right, so you want to dive into time travel, like really get into it.
We're talking the theories, the real-life stories, all that crazy stuff.
Yeah, but where do you even start? It's time travel. It's huge.
Exactly. So we've put together a deep dive, and get this, we're ranking everything.
Ooh, I like where this is going. So like from actually possible to totally bonkers.
You got it.
Yeah.
We're talking actual physics, those almost too crazy to believe theories.
Don't forget the real life cases. Those always get me.
Oh, we've got those too. Things are going to get wild. But first,
We got to ground ourselves a bit. What's the starting point for all this?
let's call it Tier C. This is where the science is actually pretty solid, relatively speaking, of course.
Relatively. Is that a time travel pun already?
Maybe. But seriously, we're easing in with stuff that scientists actually talk about.
Okay, so no flux capacitors just yet?
Not yet. Think more along the lines of Einstein and his theory of relativity.
All right, Einstein, relativity. That's more like it. But how does that get us to time travel?
It's all about time dilation. Basically, time isn't constant.
Wait, what? Time isn't constant?
Nope, it's relative, especially when you're talking about speed. The faster you move, the slower time passes for you.
So like if I strap myself to a rocket and blast off at near the speed of light.
You'd age slower than everyone still here on Earth.
Whoa, okay, that's a lot to process. But also incredibly cool. Is that actually proven?
On a small scale, yeah. They've done it with atomic clocks.
Atomic clocks, like the super accurate ones.
Yep, those ones. They actually tick a little slower at high speeds.
Right, my mind is officially blown. So time dilation, speed, got it. What else we got in this almost possible category?
Let's talk about wormholes. Imagine like a shortcut tunnel through space and time. You go in one end.
And pop out somewhere else entirely different. Maybe even a different time.
You got it. Theoretically possible.
Theoretically. So you're saying there's a catch. There's always a catch.
Well, we've never actually found a wormhole. And even if we did,
Hold on, I'm imagining giant space tunnels here. How do you even make one of those?
you'd need something called exotic matter, which is like matter with negative energy density. It's like trying to build a bridge out of anti-gravity. We don't even know if that's possible.
So wormholes, theoretically possible, but also might require breaking the universe as we know it.
Got it. Okay, so we've gone from almost possible to need to break the universe. Where do we even go from here?
Buckle up, we're moving into Tier B, where things get even more out there. Out there like how? What's more mind-bending than a wormhole?
Try wrapping your head around this. Time crystals.
Time. Crystals. Okay, I'm just going to need you to explain this one.
Imagine instead of like a physical crystal,
Yeah, like a snowflake, I gotcha.
it's a repeating pattern, but in time, not space.
A repeating pattern in time. What does that even mean?
So a normal crystal, the atoms, they have a repeating structure.
Right, I see where you're going with this.
A time crystal. Repeating pattern of movement. Over and over.
So not something you can hold in your hand then.
Not exactly. It's more like a pattern of energy, maybe.
And this exists. Like scientists have actually found these time crystals.
They've created them in a lab.
No way. Seriously.
It's pretty new, actually. Only theorized about a decade ago. Huge deal in physics. Changes how we even think about time.
Okay, that's just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
But can we time travel with them?
Not like in the movies, sorry.
Figures. Worth a shot, though. So time crystals, fascinating, but not time machines. Got it. What other weirdness does Tier B have for us?
Let's talk about the grandfather paradox.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this one. It's a classic.
It really gets to the heart of why time travel is so messy.
It's the whole go back in time, accidentally kill your grandpa thing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Say you go back and somehow your grandfather never meets your grandmother.
Awkward.
Your parents would never be born.
And me neither, which means...
You never could have gone back in time to cause the problem in the first place.
Exactly. It's a paradox, a time loop of impossibility.
That's the issue, right? Trying to change the past, even if we could, just creates logical nightmares.
So what's the point of even thinking about it then?
It's more about understanding the limits of time travel, the what-ifs and the maybes.
Okay, I can get behind that. Exploring the possibilities,
Yes.
even the impossible ones.
And who knows? Maybe by understanding the paradoxes, we get closer to figuring out if time travel is even possible.
Okay, so we've covered some wild theories, but what about the real world? Are there actual cases of time travel out there?
That's where things get really interesting. We're talking Tier A, the real-life stories, the mysteries that just might suggest time travel is more than just science fiction.
Tier A, huh? This is where we separate fact from fiction, right? Or at least try to.
It's where things get really interesting. We're talking about the stories, the accounts, the things that make you wonder, What if?
What if, indeed? Hit me with your best shot. What's first on this list of time travel mysteries?
Let's talk about John Titor.
John Titor. Rings a bell, but I'm drawing a blank. Refresh my memory.
Early 2000s, internet forums, all that. This guy pops up claiming to be a time traveler.
Hold up. Seriously. A time traveler. From the future.
From 2036, to be exact. But here's the thing.
There's always the thing, isn't there?
It was right around the whole Y2K scare. You remember that, right?
Vaguely. Wasn't that when everyone thought computers were going to melt down and end the world or something?
Pretty much. And Titor, he feeds right into that anxiety. Claims he needs to go back to get an old IBM computer.
To save the future. Sounds like a movie plot.
And it gets better. He's got all these detailed descriptions of life in 2036. Talks about time travel physics, even posts supposed blueprints of his time machine.
Okay, so he's either the real deal or a really good storyteller.
Yeah, right. And people ate it up. The timing was perfect. We were already primed to believe that technology could either save us or break us.
So what happened? Did anyone ever prove he was legit? Or debunk him?
That's the thing. He just vanished, disappeared from the forums as quickly as he showed up.
So we'll never know.
Nope. And that's what makes it so intriguing. John Titor might just be a really elaborate hoax, but it makes you wonder, what if there was more to it?
I like a good mystery. Okay, that was internet weirdness. What about something more tangible?
Tangible. All right, how about a ship?
A ship. What are we talking about here?
The Philadelphia experiment, allegedly World War II era.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
The story goes that the Navy was experimenting with technology to make ships invisible to radar.
Stealth technology. Makes sense.
But something went wrong. Horribly wrong.
How wrong are we talking here?
The USS Eldridge, the ship involved, supposedly vanished.
Vanished, like poof.
Gone. Some say it teleported, others say it traveled through time. There are even stories of crew members merged with the metal of the ship.
Okay, now that's just creepy. So what's the truth? Did a U.S. Navy destroyer actually time travel?
Sadly, no. Like with John Titor, there's no real evidence to support any of it.
So, another case of a good story, but not much else.
Pretty much. It's probably a mix of wartime secrecy, rumors about experimental technology, and some good old-fashioned exaggeration.
Makes sense. But it's still a fascinating story, and I bet a lot of people believe it.
People want to believe. These stories, they tap into something deep in us. The desire to push boundaries, to explore the unknown.
Even if it means bending the very fabric of time and space.
Exactly. And that's what makes the topic of time travel so captivating. Even if we never actually achieve it, the very idea forces us to confront the limits of our understanding of the universe.
To think beyond what we think is possible.
And who knows, maybe someday what we consider impossible today will be tomorrow's reality.
I like the way you think. Well, there you have it, folks. We've traveled from the theoretical edges of physics to the shadowy realms of real-life mysteries, all in search of an answer to the age-old question, is time travel possible?
And while we might not have all the answers, one thing's for sure, the journey itself is full of wonder, speculation, and a healthy dose of mind-bending possibilities.
Absolutely. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep your minds open to the infinite possibilities that lie beyond the ticking clock.